Hello, everyone, and welcome to this auspicious Balance Dataslate day. My name is Adrian. I'm going to be your host for the next little while as we hang out and talk about the state of Warhammer 40K. Of course, many of us have been anticipating today with a lot of excitement, a lot of curiosity. I'm super excited to be here. So thank you for joining me. I know it's a bit spontaneous, but that's kind of the way it has to be with these kinds of events. So it's exciting. Welcome in everyone in chat. I'm just going to give everyone a second to kind of pile on in, make sure everything's connected. As you can see, I have a different setup today. I'm just at home. Felt like the quickest way to just hop online and get talking about things. So let me know if everything sounds and looks good. And we'll dive on in. What's up, Shane? We've got Doc Mel in chat. We've got lots of friendly faces, shiny things. We've got the Lord Neko, Evan Tuminello. Hey. What's up, Animus Prime? Hello. What is up, Kato in 519? Just a Game. Babenji. Monicure 1. Hello, everybody. What's up, T? Lots of good discussion going on already. Yeah, we got Squig background, baby. It's all about that bomb, Squigs. Looks like you just caught up. Yeah. I mean, it's 9 o'clock. I'm awake. I'm ready. All that good stuff. Not normally on camera at this time of day, but we are here. Oh, good. Hair looks good. Awesome. Yeah, we do need more squid. We're going to talk about orcs today. Trust me. Don't worry. That's awesome. Well, thank you everyone for joining me. I know, again, a very exciting day. So, yeah, what we're going to do is we will go through the Balance Dataslate. It's hard to not kind of just go through it, which everyone is obviously doing, but we'll try to contextualize it a bit, obviously give our personal thoughts. I obviously have a few preferences as far as factions that I hold near and dear, and we'll talk about, like, was this enough? What does the game look like? Was this in the right direction? We also can kind of encompass a lot of the Grotmas stuff, because that was kind of discussed in today's Warhammer community article. So that's the plan. I think let's dive on in right after we take this super chat. This is, of course, my daily reminder from Shiny Things. What's up, Shiny Things? They say, hey, Adrian, how's your Golden Demon pick going? Did you settle on a miniature yet? Look, that's a great question, Shiny Things. I was looking at models yesterday, and I think I'm still in the same spot as yesterday, which is going to be something to do with Gaunt's Ghost, something that might be a duel, and it's going to be some conversion model. I'm trying to not go too big. So thank you for the daily reminder of what I need to do. Thank you so much, Digital Designer, for the super chat. Very much appreciated. They say, happy Slate Day. How's everyone's list faring? Mine went up a good bit. Shadowmark up 65 and Deathwatch up 50. The former is manageable, but Indomitor's up 15 points is brutal. They were so undercosted. I'll need to see how the meta looks to decide how to rebuild them. Yeah, that sounds about right. It's funny because Shadowmark did get some points increases, but it also hasn't been like performing the way that everyone was saying it would. I didn't quite really see the light of day as far as Shadowmark goes. Like, it seemed good. It didn't seem like anything crazy. So I'm not super surprised by the fact that it hasn't performed that well comparatively. However, it has performed well enough to have received some points increases. So we'll be discussing that. And the Deathwatch going up 50. Yeah, Deathwatch is an interesting faction because it is a smaller faction, it's a more niche faction, but it's been good for quite some time now, and it keeps getting away with murder. Yeah, Shadowmark Deaths was a nerf going off old data. Yeah, honestly, it felt like it. Well, thanks so much, J12PK, for joining us from work. I know a lot of folks are at work today, so say hi to your boss for me. Awesome. Cool. Well, let's dive on in. Let's see if we got this thing working all right. Perfect. Oh, yeah, here we are. So welcome to the Balance Dataslate 3.2. So this is going to be the Balance Dataslate for this quarter. We've got... Okay, actually, let's do this. Let's start by talking a little bit about the state of the game, briefly. So, state of the game, overall, and I'm sure you've heard this before, is pretty dang good, actually. I feel like there's a decent representation of lists, of armies. I think there's a few big dogs at the top. Obviously, we have Aeldari, who continue to dodge every single nerf, got like a tiny, not even slap on the wrist in the last update, so that was ridiculous. AdMech, of course, has been the big boogeyman, just way too cheap for what they do. They were pointed based off of kind of the old data sheets in my mind, where they kind of sucked, and so you just make them cheap enough and they're good, but now they literally changed the data sheets and gave them more rules on top, and they dropped the points, so it's just out of control. It's just too much stuff. Definitely have had my eye on Sisters, because they have also kind of like They took the nerf bat and then have sort of slowly crept back up. In the last data slate, we basically undid almost all the changes that have been done to them. And they're real good. They're real spicy. And they are also probably too cheap. So for me, those are the big three that we're looking at. There, of course, will be more changes. But my other concern is on the other end of things. I think there are armies that do need help. I think there's armies that are not exciting to play. I think there's armies that are very mono build. So going into this slate, I was really hoping to get things that would help with those armies. We'll discuss and see where we got that, where maybe we didn't get that. But that's kind of my impression is like there's armies that like technically, if you look at the data, they're okay. But like there's one way to build them or they're just not fun or whatever. So, you know, that's a bit of context. I will also say the Warhammer community article today, I think, was one of the best ones we've ever received as far as balanced data slates, because it felt like it was written by someone who actually wrote the rules. It was not covered in like marketing nonsense and jargon and like jokes about things that just weren't relevant. It was very straightforward and kind of providing some context behind why they did the change they did, maybe talked about some of the changes that they didn't do. And that really helps us kind of get a better sense for what is going on. So, yeah, it's exciting. So, yeah, back to the slate. Let's take a look. Whoop. All right, here we go. So, going down the list, no core rules changes, really. So, this is all going to be the same as before. Nothing changed. Vect is all the same. CP reductions are the same. Over here, we've got sisters. Annoyingly, that they still have like some of these things highlighted, but these are going to be actually the same as before. So nothing rules-wise on the sisters front, nothing on the Custodes front, and then we get to the Admech, nothing on the rules front here. I'm realizing we probably want to pull up the points sooner than later. Let's do this on. Let me pull up this points document. So if we go back to this one, we'll pull up the Munitorum. Let's do this. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Sisters. We really have to do it in tandem because the truth is they were pretty light on the rules changes this time around. Instead, they really opted for going for points changes. So sisters, again, no changes to their rules. However, as you can see, there's a lot of red on this screen. We've got a lot of the units in some of the more egregious builds have gone up. So you can see huge bump on things like the five lady Retributor squads, 15 points going up on that. The Sacrosants going up to 10. This one is actually hilarious because if you look at the Sacrosants, it's 70 points for 5 and it's 140 for 10. And that's a 10-point increase, which means before it was actually cheaper if you took a bigger squad, which is crazy to me. So definitely very warranted there. The Canonist goes up to 60 points, which again highlights how gosh darn cheap she was. I don't think this was super getting spammed out, but whatever. And then we have Dominions up by 5, Hospitaller up to 10. So really the Sacrosants combo is going to be going up 20. So the people who are running the 30 Sacrosants, the list is going to go up 60 base. Morvan Val continues to go up, but is of course going to remain a mainstay. And the Sanctifiers, who I didn't personally play, but I was told that they were actually quite efficient. So the 10 points is the 10 points. I can't speak personally to that. So what this means is like the Meta Sisters lists are going up upwards of over 100 points. You know, we're looking at, again, we said 60 for the Sacrosants blobs. If you're running triple Retributors, that's going to be another 45 points. Throwing a couple things here. So it's a bit over 100 points. Personally, I think Sisters are going to be just fine. I think that then they're still a great army. They just have their points that reflect that they actually have good units with good rules, which is awesome. So I think I'm glad this was a little bit of a preempting in my mind. Like they did have a quite a good win rate, but they weren't like blowing all the events out of the water. But if we hopefully slap down Admech and slap down Eldar, they could be the next problem child. So I think this is a good and warranted change, you know? Ricky Chow says Sisters just cut a Retributor unit and carry on. Yeah, exactly. That's 120 points is basically spot on all the points that you got the increase on. So that's the thing. I do want to thank Live It Up to 1216 for the super chat. They say, my poor Imperial Knights have been scraping the bottom of the barrel and we were somehow caught a nerf. Big sad. Yeah, Imperial Knights, honestly, Knights, obviously, a very contentious topic. We had this weird situation during the summer where they were playing with the index book, or the index rules, but then like updated kind of points, and then they had changed the stats, but not in a way that mattered. So we had the crazy Knights summer, but then the Codex came out. Valor Strike was a nerf before the release, I think appropriately, and they've really kind of fallen through the floor. So unfortunately, Knights do need a bit of help, and as is alluded to, they may or may not be receiving it. Retributors are cool. Look, if you can take Retributors, maybe just don't take 30 Sacrosanct alongside. That's a thought. So we did actually record an episode last night with the new sisters. That'll come out next week, and you can see a bit of that impact. And I play kind of a more well-rounded Hell and Martyr list like I like to play, and it doesn't really get affected too much by the points. So yeah. Awesome. Yo, digital. We're gonna get to that one in a second because I'm excited. So that's it for sisters. Moving down to Custodes. Again, rules wise, they didn't get any changes. Points wise, we saw reductions on the Terminators and the regular Custodian Guard. This will make Shane happy. Oh yeah, Vigilators and Witch Seekers. Cool. These are all in the right direction. Custodians certainly need help, but I don't think it's gonna notably make any big impacts. If you are, again, like Shane, and you want to run your 30 Custodian Guard, this can add up to, what, like 60 points or something? But it's like, this isn't moving the needle. Custodes continue to be an army where people are like, they are okay in some regards, but they're kind of just boring, you know? So, I don't know. They didn't get anything for Grotmus yet, so I think... I'm trying to decide in my mind if I want to advocate for them having received a Grotmus thing that makes them exciting to play. I don't think I'd want to do that. I think I'd advocate for just tweaking what they do have to make them functional. That's honestly everything. So, Custodes, not too much change. Just a bit cheaper. They are what they are, and that's not really going to be different. Custodes do everything or nothing. So true. Yeah. So wild. All right, next up. Oh, yeah, Mr. Snakecake saying Retributors need their data card split into multi-melt and heavy bolter flamer because 120 for 4 heavy bolters / flamers is insane. Yeah, that would actually be really nice. I know. I'm personally a fan of splitting data sheets. I think while sometimes it can lead to spam, more often than not, it gives them a point where they can actually adjust things a little bit, you know, and say, yeah, a Wraith Knight with a gun and a Wraith Knight with a sword is not really the same thing. We need to balance those differently. So I'm a fan of that personally. Yeah. Ricky Chow says Custodes have a Warden issue. Exactly. The problem is if you do any buffs overall to the army, it's going to affect everything in the army. Shocking. And that includes Wardens, who are just ridiculous. So really, outside of doing points decreases like this, or giving rules that only help the other units, they really need to do something at Wardens first. So they haven't. Now we come to the Adeptus Mechanicus, which of course has been, as we mentioned, the big bad. I think this has been, in my opinion, by far the best army in the game. It's just too much stuff. They're too good. They're too efficient. It is ridiculous. So they need some points increases. Let's see what they got. We got 35 points on call, which is a lot. To be fair, though, he's only a 1-of, so you take those 35 points and you move on. The Aeldari are going to go up 10 points each, taking them to 85. The Taraxi Skystalker is going to go up 5 points per 5. And then both of the Sicarians, who I think were one of the most egregious, are going up 5 points per 5. Now, this, at first glance, is like cool. They hit all the right units. Great. I don't know if that is enough, honestly. Like, let's talk about Siegler's list. This is going to be, 90 points on Balastari. That adds up. This is going to be 10, 30, so 120 on the Skystalkers, because I think he was running 30. And then another... this is notable, actually. The big squads went up even more. So we're at 130, 120? And then these are going to go up another, 45 there. So 220, is that what Daniel's saying? Yeah, it's about like 200-ish. This is a lot. This is a big increase in points for the best lists. However, I think they're going to be just fine. And after some other changes we look at, I think they might still be the best army in the game, honestly. They're just ridiculous. So again, right direction. Is it enough? We will see. Now, we did say the same thing about Death Guard. We were like, okay, they got points increases, whatever. You lose a couple drones, no rules changes. Is that really going to be enough? Turns out it actually was. Death Guard have really slapped down in the last slate. So I'll reserve like harsh judgment, but it feels from seeing it and kind of, thinking about this, percolating it over since I received it. I don't know if it's enough. I don't know. I think they're still like, this makes them more fair, but still very good. So that's kind of what I'm thinking there. Yeah. Scribble Cloud just finished up the Harlequin BA game from last night. I fell asleep on bottom turn 4. It was a close one. Very fun game. Very, very close. If you're not a member, definitely consider becoming a member because we played Harlequins versus the Blood Angels last night. Highly recommend going ahead and check it out. And I may or may not have baked in points changes already. So that will be that battle report is still relevant. So it's exciting. Cool. Yeah, so that's AdMech. Again, right direction. Is it enough? I don't know. Probably not. Adeptus Titanicus. No changes. I know you were all wondering. The Aeldari. Points. We'll start with points, then we'll look at the rules. Because I think the points are the lesser of the nerfs here. Now, Eldar, very, very strong army, very hard army to play, but has been performing spectacularly over the last few months. So they needed something to tone them down. That's not super debated, although Brian's not here to argue with me. So let's take a look. We've got some of the key Phoenix Lords and Ladies. Janezar, Lycus up 15 points each. Eldog is going to go up 10. The big Fire Dragons get hit again, going up to 240. So basically, you're not getting that rebate for taking a big squad, because you can see it costs the same as just doubling that, that is fair, because truth be told, 5s and 10s, they both have different benefits. They're both good. There's not really... The only reason to offer a rebate on a bigger squad is if a bigger squad offers diminishing returns. And with Fire Dragons, no, not really. They're just different tools. So I think totally fair to have that match. Where things start to really add up, though, is you see the small Swooping Hawks and the small Warp Spiders both go up by 10. So that is going to really increase the cost of some of these meta lists. So this is going to really, we're going to go up 30 on Warp Spiders, 30 on Swooping Hawks, another 10 for Eldrad, another 10 for the Guardians, another 20 at least on the Fire Dragons, and then a bunch here. So it's a good chunk of points. It's over 100 points of changes. At the end of the day, is this really going to push the needle? No, I don't think so. Again, you drop a unit, you move on with your life. However, let's take a look at the rules. Let's take a look. All right, prepare yourselves. So coming down to the Aeldari, first of all, we have the Star Engines rule. This was the rule that allowed you to add extra movement to your Eldar vehicles. It was not an advance. You could combine it with an advance. It would just give you lots of extra movement. So this would let you stage like your Wave Serpents, your Falcons, things like that, dump people out, do the stuff, right? Now, instead, it gives you Assault when you advance. So it's, in some ways it's a subtle change, in some ways it's not, right? So this is going to be, you're still going to get extra movement with your vehicles for shooting, but it's not going to help you really dump out these extra squads without, having Assault or what have you, right? It's going to really limit your options there, and you're not going to be able to combine it with Assault. So big reduction in movement on the vehicles. Pretty interesting. This is one of the biggest things with Eldar right now, and we've been discussing this on the channel, is what really makes them so good. Part of it is, yes, points efficiency, kind of, but also this sort of like, I'll say abuse. I'm not throwing shade at people who played it, but things that sort of take advantage of corner cases in the game and make things uninteractable, which was the Eldar hopping in and out of their vehicles, not being able to be shot, staying in a big thing, jumping out like 30 inches, shooting things, then killing them. That kind of was the core of the problem. So this is the first attempt to actually change that. So let's look at some other changes. We've got the Aspect Host Detachment. This is your Skyborn Sanctuary stratagem where you would normally get back inside of your transport. Instead, you can only trigger it now if you were eligible to fight this phase. So really only works if you are using this for like a melee combo. So your Dark Reapers that are hopping out and getting those rerolls to wound and getting all the bonuses, Not going to happen unless they're also charging. And yeah, also charging. That is brutal. Brutal. And then yeah, I was like, so the reason I was pausing is I was like, wait, can you do this in combat? No, you cannot do this if you're in combat. So huge hit to that ability in that detachment. Luckily, we have another one in Warhost. We can still hop in those transports, right? Well, let's take a look. Over here in Warhost, we have the same thing. You have to have been eligible to fight. So again, you can use this, but it's going to be much more limited. It's not for your shooting units. Certainly not going to be possible if you like jump your Wave Serpent, your Falcon out 24 inches or whatever it is. Get out, shoot, because you can't charge after that, right? You can run out front, shoot, charge, fight, survive, be free, jump in the boat, which the boat has moved up, but it's a lot more hoops, it's a lot harder, and you have to kill where you're going to kill in melee. And then on top of that, Fire and Fade no longer allows you to jump inside of a transport. So no double transport shenanigans either. Wild. Big changes. And then one more change, let's just hit them all at once. The Aspect Shrines. This is now going to match the Dark Eldar version, the Drukhari version. Your Aspect Shrines can no longer work on characters in the squads. So you can't just say, oh, I'm going to use the 6 on Fuegan to get an automatic 6 in Overwatch, or the damage, or what have you. And that's a huge hit to some of these combinations. Obviously, it affects some units more than others, Fire Dragons being the most notable, but pretty big hit to them. I think it's fair. It needed to be brought in line with Drukhari in that regard. Could have brought Drukhari up, but instead we're going to bring the Eldar down. Fine. Makes me a little bit sad for some of the cool plays that you can do, but it is what it is. So this is huge. This is a huge set of changes. I see chat going fast, so let's take a look. Eldar only a trading army now. Maybe, honestly. When are you going to see us play it? We will play it soon, TM. I will probably, unfortunately, have to let Brian play it, although he's very upset. So, understandably, this is a huge hits to the army. They got rid of their kind of strongest asset, which is the ability to be uninteractive and kind of stay at arm's length. They got rid of some of their ability to then reach out and strike at things. And then they also increased their points. So it's a massive, decapitation of the playstyle of Aeldari as we know it. I think there will be other ways to play that do emerge. I do think that the No Harlequin detachment is very cool. It's certainly nowhere near what we have had in the past here. I hope it's not too much. I'm definitely not saying it's too much, but it's very big. This is big for Eldar. It's a huge hit. So yeah. Let's see if the 7th consecutive nerfs this edition managed to bring the Eldar in 9. Yeah, I mean, again, they've been a very strong army, and unfortunately, I hope we're not at a point where, as Brian would say, they just need to rewrite the whole book, because we keep having this happen with Eldar. It just sucks. It sucks. But here we are yet again. So again, very curious what you guys think. Windrider Host has a 37% win rate. Oh my gosh. Can't really see a reason to play Eldar anymore. They're cool. Their turn for the triple nerf. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think yeah, that's honestly nailing it on the head. This is a lot. The triple nerf is pretty dang brutal. I think one or two of these, I don't think the points would have been enough. I think the transport change is a good change. I would have maybe done just that, which is huge. It's the biggest one. And then not hit star engines. I certainly wouldn't hit star engines and the transports at the same time, because they both doubly hit that kind of style of play, which is like, come on guys, it's the Eldar style of play. So I think hitting them is okay. I think hitting the aspect shrines is survivable, and even the points. It's the combination of all these things together, right? It's a huge deal. So yeah, is the Eldar Wraith Construct attachment good now? Those models are at least cool. Hey, they are cool. I mean, good is a strong word. Better than what everything else? Maybe. No. It's pretty brutal, honestly. And so this is the thing that, for me, again, also kind of skyrockets AdMech to probably still the best army in the game. They just did not get the same level of hits as the Eldar, and they already had a good matchup in Eldar. So I do want to thank Sirak here for becoming a captain. Welcome. Make sure to check out all that extra behind-the-scenes content and all that good stuff, including, again, as we mentioned last night, I did play the new Harlequins, and I baked in the points, and then like these little rules changes we were able to like not play with, obviously, because it was a different detachment. So easy peasy. Let's see. Thank you, Andrew Middlemoss, for the super chat. They say, could we see a resurgence of Wraithguard detachments, star engines to make Falcons assault and dump out high toughness / damage bodies? Ooh, that's actually pretty interesting. Because instead of saying, okay, so star engines have been nerfed to be assault, which is worse for what we've been using them for. But they're better at doing something else, which is giving the thing inside of it the assault keyword on those units that didn't have it. I think I'm like skeptical of being good, but it's certainly a new thing that you could not do before, which is exciting. And the wraith shooting is quite decent. It's great AP. They can take some scary flamers. It helps the movement problem. It's pretty sick, honestly. So yeah, it's awesome. I can't fit wraiths inside. Are they just not allowed, or is it because they take up... Oh, they would take up 3 if they did, and they'd be 15. Bummer. Sorry. No worries, Andrew. Thank you, Benedict, for pointing that out. Want to play Wraiths? Play 9th. How about 11th edition? let's maybe we'll get Eldari next edition. Yeah. So, yep. Anyways, yeah, a lot of people talking about Eldar getting hit super hard and AdMech getting away with murder. It is true. AdMech best army in the game, probably. Let's move along. The Astra Militarum, didn't see any rules changes. I don't think we got any points changes. Let me double check. Yeah, nothing here. So I'll mention briefly about the Guard detachment. It's the one that I've done actually a separate stream about. But I think Guard are like in a totally serviceable position. I think they're good. I think they were totally playable even during the night hell, and with that going down, I think Guard just got better. I think, yes, there's the talk of like, oh, you have to play combined arms or you have to play recon and nothing else. I don't think that's entirely true. Again, I've had a lot of success with Hammer of the Emperor. The new Grizzled Veterans detachment is awesome. It is kind of just a better combined arms, so I think that's going to help Guard. I don't think it's going to like skyrocket them to the moon. It's no bridgehead strike on launch, but it's a cool way to play them. Opens up some new play styles while still just allowing for new and in some ways better rules for your current builds. So I think Guard are in a good place. I'm cool with them not receiving any points changes, because the truth is, as much as I love Guard, when Guard are good, they're too good often. And we have to be careful. They are kind of like an Eldar in that regard, or sisters in that regard. So I'm super excited about them. I'll be playing the new detachment next week, probably on Thursday. So it's going to be cool. Guard are the best army in the game, not named Ultramarines. You don't think it's close? What? No way. I don't know about that. I could be very wrong. I could be wrong, but I don't think they are. I think the new detachment is good, but it's nothing crazy. So we shall see. I think an errata with needs line of sight for the rerolls is enough. Everyone's so worried about the ignore line of sight stuff. It's not good for the game. Don't get me wrong. I don't know. I think I don't know. Andrew Middlemoss, I just watched TT Tactics video on this new update and agree with their assessment. I think their strats should be made for infantry mostly. Otherwise, it's going to be Tread City. For Guard, the infantry are amazing. Willow says the Guard degens are hopping around like chimpanzees and that never ends well. That's true. Yeah, that's amazing. I don't know. Matthias says Adrian Leontis, Cadian Command Squad, Cadians, and 4 Blame Blade chassis are 1990 points. Yes, amazing. I love it. I'd rather get that than having a detachment destroyed because Reddit cried too much. Yeah, I don't know. I'm always open to being wrong, but I don't think Guard is going to be anything crazy. I think it's just going to be cool. So we shall see. Yeah. You never want you never want indirect to get out of hand. I'm not saying that. Scribble Cloud Ignore Line of Sight isn't as bad as 9th edition. I remember Quinn's going into 150 conscripts with 18 mortars. It was a fast game. Yep, exactly. So we'll see. Again, I'll be playing them next week. Love me some guard. Moving right along, we've got the Black Templars. We've got no rules changes. We've got an entire page to say nothing there. The Templars themselves had some ups, had some downs. I think for overall, they hit the kind of obvious things, which is like the Executioner going up 15 points, which is a big chunk. They were too good. However, the army overall was kind of whatever. The Emperor's Champion going up 10 is weird. It's like you can only run one, so why do that? For me, part of the issue is they didn't hit some of the units that needed it, like the Crusader squads. They're so expensive. I keep trying to be like, let's put them on the table, and then I look at it, I'm like, 150 points for 10 of these guys? I don't know about that. So, Execrator went down. He's genuinely good. The Valiant went down. Fine, whatever. The Ancient went down. Definitely needed to go down. So it's kind of neither here nor there. They did slap probably one of the better or the best Black Templar build, and that feels a little bit unnecessary other than just the context of the Repulsor Executioners in a vacuum are too good. So 235, still decent. It's interesting. Yeah. So Rep X being the same as the core Marines was laughable. Yeah. The core Marine one is so bad. This unit is so much better. So, again, some up, some down. Nothing too crazy for the Black Templars. What's up, Nurgle Matt? Thanks for joining us. Hello, Kieran. Thanks for joining us live. Yep. Yeah, Kazuma talking about the Black Templars taking a hit that was unnecessary. Hey, Shadow Warrior, I definitely agree. I think I am cool with this. Hit the Repulsor Executioner. Too good, too cheap. But give us a little bit of love somewhere else, right? I think definitely unneeded. This should go down because we haven't seen them in forever. Grimaldus, 110. We never see Grimaldus anymore. Let's make him cheaper. It's just like a few things that could have gone a bit cheaper, and we didn't really need any increases and stuff like that. So, yeah, exactly. Hilarious they didn't give a Grotmus detachment to Black Templars. Hey, they got one last year, T. They got one last year. I want to welcome Albaniod to Captainhood. Make sure to check out that behind-the-scenes content, extra games every Tuesday, including Harlequins and new Blood Angels yesterday. Worst out of slate in 10th. I mean, certainly for Black Templars. Moving on down, Blood Angels. We got the Sanguinor, went down 10 points, which is great, because I think he kind of sucks. Moving right down, Chaos Demons. Now, oh my goodness, it's an exciting day for Demons, but not in the way that you might think. So, we got some ups and we got some downs. Let's talk about... We got to talk about rules, because that will inform the points. So let's... Yeah, nothing new there. Oh, it's not in the data slate. That's annoying. I can just tell you about them, because I think I remember everything. So for the Demons, you'll notice we've got some points changes. Kairos and Lord of Change went up 10 and 15 points respectively. Well, why is that? That's because they are baller. They are awesome. They're shooting, which was interesting before, but had the classic chaos problem of being D3 damage. Now they are 3 flat damage. Absolutely terrifying. Amazing increase to them. Their consistency is just gonna go through the roof. D3 is just a horrendous profile. So this is not gonna be for the Rod of Sorcery, but it's gonna be for the main cast profile on Lord of Change. So up to 3 damage. Kairos up to 3 damage with indirect. More on that later when we come to Thousand Suns. Keeper of Secrets down 30 points. Good. Great model. Haven't seen it in forever. Rodigus went up 15 because he's again amazing and has been seeing play everywhere, especially in allies. Shalaxi down 40 points. 40 points. Massive drop. She's still 340, which is a lot. But I'd be curious to try her now. And then where's the other one I want to talk about? Yeah, Endless Gift right here, down 15 points. This is the 4-up Feeling the Pain on a Greater Unclean one. What they did was they said, okay, It's 45 points, and y'all are still taking it in every single list possible. Clearly, points are not going to solve this. So they dropped it by 15 points and worsened the Feel No Pain to a 5-up Feel No Pain. Breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. But I understand it. A 4-up Feel No Pain probably shouldn't really exist in the game. It's a lot. So that is a pretty big hit, in my opinion, to that build. Because again, we were happy to pay the points before. It's like totally reasonable. You drop other things before you drop that. But that hurts. That hurts a lot. So big sorry to the folks who are running the Great Unclean one. Yep. Shalaxi is still not good enough. Yeah, that's my fear. At 340 points, she is still very expensive. Shiny Thing says, I still failed most of my 4-ups anyways. Ah, good. Then you're fine. But yeah, cool changes. Demons are always in such a weird place where they actually have a good win rate. They do well, but they don't really podium. They don't really make it to the end. So again, tough faction to balance. I am personally really excited for the Tzeentch changes here. We just played the Change Host, the Tzeentch detachment from last year. And it's a ton of fun, and I think it's actually quite good. I think it's actually a real way to play Demons. It's going to be even better now. And but secretly, maybe the best way to play Tzeentch Demons will now be with Thousand Suns. More on that soon. Let's take Digital Designer's super chat from earlier. I think he's partially referring to other stuff. He says, also, are we all ready for the bird meta? Because Scintillating Legion looks spooky. Time for the bird traumatize me once again. Else, this data slate seems good. Yeah, that sounds about right, Digital Designer. The birds are awesome. Scintillating Legion, which is the Tzeentch detachment, is awesome. Super, super exciting. So I'm pumped for that. We'll have to play that again soon. And Thousand Suns. Let's move on. Chaos Knights, of course, we have the despoiler problem. It's just the triple despoiler. It's not like any other builds that are really going wild. So, you know, they increased it by 15 points. I think the biggest problem is the fact that they can double up on guns. Yeah, your phone did mangle that super chat. You're good. Appreciate the love and support. And thank you for all the super chats, folks. If you have any questions, if you have any thanks, super chats and memberships are awesome and much appreciated. But yeah, so Despoiler's up 15. Some of the other knights down 20. The Ruinator, which is the cool new knight that nobody was taking. Desecrator is down 10. Cool. Whatever. It's hard to do changes to knights because it's big points. However, with Chaos Knights, you have the allies, so, you know, it'll smack down some demons, but you're still going to take the triple Gatling Despoiler, still solid. What's up, a Melody, thanks for joining us in chat. Hey, what's up, Individual Climb? Good morning, everyone. Yeah, so that's Chaos Knights, pretty simple, right? Chaos Space Marines, as I said in the article, they're pretty happy with where they are at. This is wild. Never thought I would see this day where Forge Fiends are going down 10 points. Oh, yeah. We absolutely love it. So that's exciting. Chaos Lord down 10 because nobody was taking it, but everyone was taking Mr. Fabulous Bill himself. So he's going to go up by 15 points. So, you know, you win some, you lose some. Nothing big for CSM, honestly. I think overall the philosophy for the data slate was like, do no harm kind of thing, where it's like, let's hit the big baddies and just not try to mess up the boat too much, which is overall a good strategy. The Dark Angels didn't receive any rules changes, but Azrael went up a bit. Ravenwing Black Knights went down, which is great because it's been really hard to justify them at 80 points. We're getting into the realm where maybe I'll take a 3-man as a nice little kind of tradey squad, especially in some of the detachments. So, you know, pretty sweet. Yeah, Data Slate was a pretty light touch overall. Absolutely agree. Now, the Death Guard, which we mentioned, had taken a big hit in the last Balance Data Slate, and depending on who you ask, they are either perfectly fine or just completely unplayable. So this is what we got. We got the Land Raider down 20 and Rodigus up 15. And that's it. So not really any changes for the Death Guard. Moving on to the Deathwatch, 10 points on the Indominator kill team going up, which I think is 100% valid because that one was just too much for what it did. It was just, this is the big Thickums one that was just a bit too efficient. That's it. But again, tough action to balance because it's not that played, despite it doing really well at big events. Yep. Sorry, else today. Dataslate ruined Eldar. It's a light touch. Now, the Drukhari, they did acknowledge, is a new book still, so they're still keeping an eye on it. But a couple things popped out, which I think makes sense for those of us who have played the book. Ravagers down 5, kind of a token, but basically saying, yeah, Ravagers need a bit of help, which I agree. And the Reavers, the big squad, went up 10. Now, what this does, notably, is it just makes the second half of the squad cost the same as the first half of the squad. Similarly to what I was saying with the Fire Dragons, the only reason to offer a increase or decrease in the second half is if it is notably different, if it's notably better or worse, if you're getting increasing or diminishing returns by adding the second half. And for Reavers, they're both viable. The 3-mans are very cheap, great fast squads to kind of throw out, and the 6-mans are just a fantastic move blocking squad where you get better flyover mortals and things like that. So they should cost the same. It should be 70 per 3, whether you're taking a 3 or a 6. So makes sense. Yeah. Digital says the Indomitor kill team points are basically back to their LVO win points from earlier this year. Yeah, makes sense. Bahada, I think, asking about the Dark Commune set. What does everyone think? It's a great kit. Very, very, very cool. And still good. Splitting Hand of the Archon is cute. No, Shane, I did miss that. You can actually split it now. That's great. Yeah, if there's any little faction details that I missed, let me know, because that there's a lot of separate documents. But that's awesome. Moving on down. The Emperor's Children. Yes. Okay. So, this is an army that has been weird, that has not had great success, unless your name is John Lennon, and it's very strange. It has needed help, in my opinion, and every time we get new rules and data slates and things like that, my question is always to GW, are we getting the new units for Temper's Children? Are we getting like Vindicators and Forge Fiends and things like that? Can we have more data sheets? And the answer clearly is still no. But I'm going to keep trying. So what they did was, we'll talk about the detachment. We have a few reductions. Chaos Spawn down 10, which is genuinely good. So now these are the same points as a Cacophonist. So now it's actually an interesting choice. If you're taking a Cacophonist, it's probably just to boost the Noise Marine squads, rather than just being like the cheapest unit you can take. Because their Chaos Spawn are actually good. They have a reactive move. The Terminators down 15 is cute. I'm still not taking them. I hate their rule. The Demon Princes are very interesting. The flying ones went up 15 points, and the foot one went down 15 points. So now we have a 25 point differential between the two. And that starts to push them far enough where I'm maybe going to start thinking about not taking 3 Wing Princes and maybe even taking a Foot Prince. Having said that, the Wing Princes are still amazing. I did do a test game running the new points, and I basically just dropped a Cacophonist from my list and was like, I feel like there's no world in which I don't still take the 3 Flying Princes, unfortunately. The new detachment, the Foot Prince, is pretty interesting. I think he's not bad. He is not bad. So I think you might see him taken now. I still think I think I'd rather pay the extra points for the flying one. The -1 damage and the impact mortals, everything is just a heck of a drug. So yeah. Thank you, Sky Shield, for the super chat. They say it's so dumb that they refuse to fill out EC or even give us legends. I know. I 100% agree. I don't know why they're not filling out the roster. It makes no sense. It's like, clearly we need a bit of help in certain regards. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I feel you. Specs is feeling a single Footprints. Yeah, I think 1 Footprints is interesting. I think Thursday I'll try 1 Footprints, 1 Wing Prince, and Fulgrim, who, by the way, did not get a points reduction. I think he needed at least a 40 points reduction on top of the detachment to make him competitively interesting in any way. Shalaxi and the Keeper Secrets both went down points, same way as the Demons. And then again, I'll mention a brief thing about the other detachment, the EC detachment. I think it's cool. I think it offers a new way to play. It doesn't make you have to do weird commitments and early kills like the way Coteries does. I think it is a good general style list. I think that Coteries is more generalized, obviously, because rerolls and lethal and sustained in shooting and fighting literally helps everything, whereas the core detachment ability for the Phoenicians only helps you in melee. But you have amazing shooting tricks like the extra strength and AP on your Noise Marines. -1 to wound is always good for your being defensive with your shooting units. So I think it's cool. I'm excited to try it. Coteries is probably still better. I'm probably going to stick with Coteries myself, but I'm going to be doing some test games and seeing what I like. So, yeah. Lethal Sustained is only in melees. Oh, that's fair. So, but the rerolls is nice. The rerolls is really nice. So, yeah, that's Emperor's Children. I wish they got more. I wish Flawless Blades went down another 10 points. I wish Fulgrim went down another 40 points. And I wish we got new units. That's the thing. With that, let's move on down. Let's see. So, Genestealer Cults, nothing as far as I know. Grey Knights, Interceptors, Purgations down. Cute. That's cool. Oh, yeah, that's right. Youngbow points out the Transport Detachment did get a bit of help. They now benefit from their own detachment rule, which is nice. It is Land Raiders, so that's a good unit to get the buffs. I think it's fun. I think it's cool. Nothing crazy, but it's nice that they did that. I wish they did more little tweaks like that to the other detachments, because you'll notice that's still not what we're getting here, right? We're not getting those little tweaks to help the detachments that aren't seeing play. Yeah. Agents, nothing. Knights, we saw points reductions. A bunch of points reductions. Was there a rule change on the Knights? Anyways, all these big Knights are going to be down 10 points. There wasn't anything on the Dataslate side. Boo, boo, boo. Yeah, nothing. These are the factions that we went through. Oh, this is the splitting that Shane was talking about. This is the transports buff we were just talking about. Nothing for Genestealers. That's Grey Knights. They get their whole empty sheet. Imperial Agents, Imperial Knights. Yeah, nothing. So, 10 points on these guys is nice. They certainly needed it. The question is, does this add up to anything? Maybe it adds up to an enhancement. Certainly not another Knight or another Armiger, which is always the difficulty with balancing Knights. So, yep. One of the deeds got worse. Interesting. Do we have a new faction pack for Imperial Knights? We do have some red text here. Oh, it's not going to highlight it for me, is it? It's not going to highlight it. Let me know in chat. Oh, they put the FAQ at the bottom. Here we go. So this is the Code Chivalric Army rule. Pledge to tally. Okay, so end of the battle round if the number of enemy units destroyed is greater than the battle round number, even if those return to the battlefield. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, you're good. So they did take a hit, which is weird. I don't think they need that. That seems weird. Sorry, Knights. You don't deserve that. You don't deserve that. You know what? For everything that people say about you, you don't deserve that. So, kind of weird, and the points are kind of nothing. I'd rather have no points changes than no rules nerf. Votann, again, GW is sort of saying it is a new book, so still kind of remains to be seen. Some interesting changes here, notably, Bury is down 15. I think he's amazing, but I haven't actually seen him on a lot of competitive lists, a lot of good lists, a lot of winning lists. So 95 points is pretty dang spicy for him. I think now, hopefully, we're pushing him into the realm that people will play him, because real Votann players are not taking them. So that's a bummer. Bury isn't very good. Yeah, I think he does have a weird combination of rules, I guess. Monarchy 1, comments at the top of the stream. All right, let's take a look. Zip. I know what Shane thinks about Bury. Monarchy 1. I don't think I can go back that far on the chat. Yes, the rules don't work together. Yeah, exactly. He has the Blood Surge. He has to get back up when he dies, but they're kind of at odds with each other. They do weird different things. Yeah, it's a confused profile. Exactly. So, yeah, make him cheaper. It's cool. We've got the Brainfast Oathband going up 10 points on the Trivarg Cyber Implant, which is the nasty shooting one. We've got increases on some of these awesome units, Calls, Sagittars, but we're going down 5 points per 3 on the Steeljacks, which is cool. People were taking them. And the Arcanist going down 10. I think he has been really fun to play, but really not good. So that honestly checks out. And then if we look at the slate, nothing over here directly. And if we go to the... Do I see it? Do I see it? No. Oh, I guess there was nothing there. Huh. Okay. Yeah, so you're going up a little bit. Nothing crazy, honestly. Yeah, Barry needs a rerolls and probably needs to be a hair cheaper. Cheaper than 95? You want to take him at 95? I'm so sorry to hear that, Chrono. Oh, no, that sucks. Well, yeah, let them know, you know. It happens. It happens to all of us. Yeah. Ricky Chow says 95 points for the privilege of dying twice isn't going to cut it, brother. No, but he's lone op, and he hits pretty dang hard. He's a maybe instead of a never. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Anyways, so that's Votann. So nothing huge here, honestly. Moving on down, Necrons, nothing, which is interesting. I think they're in a solid spot. They're not broken for once, which is nice. So that's a thing. 5 attacks, no rerolls. Hey, he's stronger than a Dread Knight. That counts for something. He doesn't kill 5 scouts. All right, fair enough. All right, complaint time for me now. It's Orks. It's Orks. Orks got nothing. Zilch. 0. Zip. Nothing. Because Orks are not allowed to be good. Anytime Orks are too good, they smack them down so fast. Mordaka was a mistake. Smack that down as fast as you can. Tactical Brigade, come on. Come on. Come on. So the Orks right now, I have a couple complaints. One, as I predicted, the Dataslate changes last time didn't do a ton for the army. Like, they are better, but they also there was a lot of game changes that made them better, right? So the challenge cards going away, remembering all that stuff happened during the last Balance Dataslate. So that's the thing. Like, that happened while we got the other upgrades. The gas changes are good. The commando change is good. All that is fine and dandy, but I still just don't think they're in a great spot. Like, I think they could be considered okay, but I would like to see them see a little bit of love. And then my other complaint for them is the internal balance is still horrendous. There's still lots of things that you'll just never, ever see. You'll never have people take. And really, competitively speaking, it's really hard to get out of the boot of a Warhorde. And now it's going to be even harder to get under the boot of Warhorde with Gaz and the boys. I love that that's a thing now, but like, it feels like it's the only way to competitively play Orks right now, and it just sucks. So they've been so concerned about internal balance in terms of like hurting things and being like, oh, this unit's too good internally, so we're going to increase the points. But they just have not lifted anything up to help on that internal balance. Help us with these other detachments, make them better, make those other units work better. So yeah, I'm pretty frustrated by this lack of Ork changes here, if I'm being honest. We've got Babenji, thank you so much for the super chat. They say the worst part for Orks is it still feels required to take 500 points Gazbrook to be competitive. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Exactly. That's exactly right. Like, it's a good unit, it's a great unit, it is strong, but like, what else can we do, you know? So Green Tide, no, I don't think Green Tide is even that great, honestly. Yeah. If they are the new bad for main for 11th, that would explain why they got nothing new. Oh, I don't need new units or anything. I just need rules adjustments. Tactical Braid was so fun to play against. I thought it was cool. Like, they preempted the nerf. They hit it before it was a problem. I'm not even sure if it was going to be a problem, to be honest. So yeah, they're just obsessed with Warhorde, and it's just like, it gets so boring. I played so much Warhorde in my life, you know? Oh my gosh. 3 kill rigs, 3 hunter rigs. That sounds pretty sick, honestly. Yeah, exactly. I think I do want to try 3 kill rigs at some point. I think well, it's probably not the best. It's not terrible. So, taking BB on my crusade, very hopeful. BB. Bully boys. Nice, that's awesome. Cans, Dreads, and Squidcogs could all have used points drops. Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, just really bad internal balance on the Orks. And while the core build is totally playable, it's annoying that they think, like, this is fine. So, that's my rant. They give you clowns so you can focus on that. Honestly, I'm so happy about Harlequins. You have no idea. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Okay, let's take a look at Space Marines. Space Marines really depends whether they deserved a nerf or needed a buff. Depends on who you ask. Everyone will give you a different answer. At the end of the day, they got some reductions on units internally, and then also some points increases specifically on units for internal balance. So Ethan Sean is going to go up 25 points. The aggressors go down yet again. In the year 2025 of our Lord, aggressors are 95 points for 3 models. Like, how cheap can they make these before we start taking them? And I totally get it. Like, aggressors, the problem is they just die. They try to do lots of things. They're slow. They shoot, they fight, but then they just die. And whenever I'm playing against Space Marines, I love to see aggressors across the board because I know they're going to jump out, they're going to just mutilate something, and then I'm just going to pick them up off the board and kill them. It's going to be great. So 95 points, we'll see. Kato is up 25, which is a great. Oh, sorry, he's down 25. Why would they do this? Why? It's ridiculous. Oh my gosh. I totally misread that. Okay, cool. The dev squads are up because they were a little bit too efficient. I agree with that. Eradicators are down to 90, which is pretty spicy. They are like they're a good unit. They are fine. They will go out. It's kind of like we were just saying. They'll go out, they'll kill a thing, and then they will die, right? The con is down 10, lieutenant is down 10, whatever. The Vanguard vet squads up 5 and 10 respectively. People have been going nuts for these things, whether it be in squads with the Inferno pistols or if you're running Shadow Mark and you have the Storm Shields. People have been really hot on Vanguard vets, so they increase the points just for internal balance. The Victrix Guard, hilarious. The 3-man, yes, the 3-man goes down by 10 points. It goes down by 10 points. That's insane. Insane. What the heck? Now the 6-man does go up 30, so it's 120, 240. It was weird because they were like the second half was mega cheap. So I think part of this was a typo in the small man points cost. However, is this enough? No. They didn't get any rules changes. I think Victrix Guard need to lose a rule or a wound. Make them conditional -1 to wound. Make them 3 wounds, like something else on top of this. Victrix Hell is here, Taloon. You are exactly right. So true. Shadowy Warrior says they called it 120, 240. I feel like they've sold all the models. Didn't everyone already buy their 18? Ay. Bad Kato came down and is still more expensive than good Kato. Oh, is it the other Kato? Is that what it is? I don't know. Anyways, Victrix Winter. Yeah. Honestly, I think we're still here. It's gonna be a thing. I can't even comprehend how horrendous this is gonna be. So bring your AP, bring your single big good activations. Sorry, Eldar, that was your fire dragons. Not sure what you're gonna do now. Yep. Yeah, new Kato's worse than old Kato. That's super funny. Oh my gosh. Amazing. If I walk up to a table and they have 20 Victrix, I'm raging. Don't worry. They can only have 18, so if they have 20, you can DQ them. And then the Storm Speed are down by 15, which is cool, actually. This is actually pretty interesting here. I think this is the +1 to wound speeder, Shane was saying. So down 15 points. That's good. Like, I take that. And then rules-wise, I don't think we got anything for Space Marines. But we've been going through a lot today. Nah, nothing there. Cool. So, I will say this. Space Marines, I think, do constantly battle with the internal balance problem. Again, I think Shadow Mark is not as good as they thought it was. You can see most of these points increases are hitting specifically that build. And totally missed the Ultramarines. So, we'll see. There's more ways to play Space Marines than ever. I think overall they're totally fine, you know? I'm sorry. Sorry, hold on. Ultramarines are not fine. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, like you can play Salamanders decently. You can even play Fists decently. You know, there's lots of cool builds that I think are totally fine. White Scars, all that stuff. So that's cool. But the Ultramarines need to be slapped down super hard. It's ridiculous. Oh, the Terminators. Yeah, thank you. So the Terminator data sheet is interesting now. They released a new data sheet for the new kit. So the Thunderhammers are going to be hitting on 3s now, which is great. So you're less reliant on Oath of Moment. And then you're going to get extra attacks on the Lightning Claws. I think it's 2 extra attacks. And their datasheet profile, or their ability, changed. Before it was when you charge, causes battle shock test. Now it's just start of the fight phase, cause battle shock test. So is that datasheet change an improvement? Yes. Is it enough? I don't think it's going to rock the world overnight, as I keep telling Shane, because he keeps bringing this up with me. But I think like Battle Shock randomly is nice. It's nice that it'll trigger defensively as well as offensively. Do I wish it was something consistent and more interesting? Yes, but whatever. The stat changes are more interesting because you are less reliant on Oath. I think it's totally fine. I don't think it's going to necessarily push you a ton to be like, well, now I'm going to run all these Terminators where I wasn't before. But it's cool. Like, this is a cool unit, and they weren't seeing enough play. So I'm really glad that they got help. So, that's cool. Yep. Yeah, nothing much changed for Votann. Sorry. Yep. Just 6 attacks per Lightning Claw. Yeah, that's awesome. Decent in Wrath. Yeah, definitely. Makes sense. 30 Lightning Claws and attacks on a 5-man actually sounds good. Infiltrating 10 Shadowmark Terminators. Yeah, I'm not as hot on the infiltrating stuff, Shane. You know that. Like, you can already rapid ingress them. I don't think infiltrating them is necessary. It's not like you're going to be throwing them in turn 1. Who do you are? Who do you think you are? Space Wolves? Speaking of which, let's look at Space Wolves. So, rules-wise, nothing on the slate. They do have a new detachment, which is awesome. And they got some points reductions on the Space Wolf specific units, which we'd love to see. So Bjorn went down 10, Grey Hunters 15, Iron Priest. You can see them here. Grey Hunters definitely needed a reduction. They weren't seeing a ton of play. Bjorn was already awesome. I'm not sure why they reduced him. The Iron Priest, I think they should just fix his rule instead of making him cheaper, but whatever. Murderfang down is cool. Vendread down is cool. So that's some nice points reductions on units that definitely weren't seeing enough play outside of Bjorn. So I think this is cool. The new detachment, we won't go into a ton of detail, but it is cool. Space Wolves. It is a fairly generalized list. It does like Terminators, and it does also like Daddy Logan, which we're always a fan of. It's a sort of Gladius style Space Wolf list. Basically what it does is you have 3 doctrine-like abilities that you can pick at the start of your command phase. Each of them can be picked once unless you have Logan, which you can pick them again. You can give your units reroll advance and charges. You can give them +1 to hit in shooting, or you can give them sustained or lethal in fighting. Awesome. And then there's various ways you can imagine you can put someone into one of these abilities. We can finally join Terminator captains to Wolfguard Terminators. You've got Armor Contempt. You've got reactive moves. You've got a advance and charge or advance and fall back. It's got Thundercab moving through walls. It's got a lot of cool stuff that Space Wolf players will like. So I think it's a really cool detachment. Again, I like that it's very generalized. I think we're going to be seeing it see play. We'll certainly get it on the table. I think we'll do it next Tuesday, actually. So if you're not a member, consider becoming one so you can check it out and join Doc Mel as she tries it for the first time. So cool stuff for Space Wolves. We like that. I would have liked to have seen the Wolf Scouts go down a little bit. But yeah, we need Mel to play more. We need more Mel to play on this channel. I 100% agree, Shiny Things. We'll see what we can do. But yeah, I wish Wolf Scouts went down a bit. That's probably my only thing. Going on to the Tau, we didn't see any rules changes. We had the big buff in the last data slate, and this is just another internal adjustment. Riptide is up to 200, Skyrewe is up to 150. These were both seen in many lists, so I understand it. The Storm Surge is down 40 whopping points, which is pretty spectacular. So I don't know if I'd take it competitively, but I think it is actually pretty interesting to look at now. It has a lot of shooting with it. And then tiny reductions on breachers and strike teams. So, I love me some breachers. Seeing those guys down by 10 makes me very, very happy. I ended it. No, I'm not even going to qualify it. I just think that's cool. I like it. Right. Okay. Thousand Suns. Okay. Here we go. I'm excited. I'm very excited for this. So Thousand Suns have been in a rough spot. They saw hits, in terms of their rules, in terms of their points, and really have seen the consequences. So they've been in a tough spot. Bunch of points reductions here, which is nice. It's not, in some ways it's not enough. Like I think the core build as we know it is not going to change a ton. The melee enlightened, which weren't really taken, are down by 10 in 3-mans, and then the shooty ones are down by 5 in 3-mans. We had this sort of like seesawing where they were like way too cheap, and then they were way too much, and then now they're coming down a little bit. So that's cute. It's whatever. The Predator Destructor down 10, the Forge Fiend's down 10, the Mauler Fiend's down 10, the Mutalith Vortex Beast is down 5, Rubric's down 5, Sorcerer down 5. So if you want to run the vehicle detachment, I think you can save a lot of points. But unless you're Bridger and you think that everyone was going to play the vehicle detachment, it's not like the most common thing, right? The Rubrics and Sorcerers is nice. That's going to help a little bit. That will add up with your few Zangor Enlightened on 3-man Great Bows that you're taking. But it's nothing that's moving the needle in a huge way, you know? Yeah, 130 is quite cheap. Remember, the CSM one is 170. 170, right? So that's a thing. And like there's only one Bridger. Yeah, honestly. So that's a thing. I wish they didn't roll back the let me pull up the faction pack. Make sure. I don't know. I don't see it. Demons, Space Marines, Dataslate. It's not in here. Oh, it's only in the Balance Dataslate. Okay. Personally, I wish they would change the Mutalith Vortex Beast to stack with like Magnus. Personally, that's just me. But let's take a look at the Balance Dataslate part of the Thousand Suns. Where is this thing? I've lost it. I am very excited for this. So the Thousand Suns, notably, this all applies to the Scintillating Legions models. That's the Tzeentch Demons. So now when you take the Change Host, you are going to be able to have your demons benefit from your Cabal abilities, which is huge. They can get benefit from rerolls to hit. They can benefit from extra AP. They can do... Can you do Temporal Surge? You can Temporal Surge them. Combine that with the fact that now... oh, and the Rod of Sorcery is flat 2 damage. I totally missed that. And combine that with the fact that you're going to have extra AP and extra damage on the big chickens. Let me tell you, it is very spicy. Very spicy. I'm like, oh my gosh, 1,000 Suns is the best way to play demons right now. This is awesome. We recorded this yesterday. We actually played a game, so that'll come out next week. And it's awesome. I'm a little nervous about Fate Weaver with 3 damage indirect and full hit rerolls. That's cause for concern, I think. If people are worried about guard, be worried about this, because this is the thing that you're going to see. But like Magnus, a Lord of Change, Fatey, I mean, there's just so many combinations you can do. Like the Flamers can now get up to AP 3 with Twist of Fate. There's actually good strats in this. You can sort of do like a, what's the word? The Suffering Sacrifice strat for the Sisters, where you can like have demons body block for your Thousand Suns units, take wounds, you have reactive moves with them. There's really cool stuff here. So it's awesome. Yeah. Someone does have to point and have line of sight for the hit rerolls. But it's pretty spicy. Also, so one thing I was looking at, there is the Exalted on disc. The Exalted Sorcerer on disc has an enhancement in this detachment that gives you an invuln of a 2-up invuln once per game for a phase. So wanted him to like zip on out, be obnoxious, gate line of sight, throw a ritual out, and then be just difficult to kill. Pretty spicy. So I'm very excited about this detachment and this combination. So keen to see what happens with it. So that's Thousand Suns. So great buff for demons in the Thousand Suns book. Tyrannids. Tyrannids I think could definitely use help. They've been struggling for a while now. There's no rules changes here. It was notably points changes. And if you're a Carnifex connoisseur, let me tell you, you're in for a good time. Because there's substantial changes on Carnifexes. A single Carnifex is going to go down 25 points. The Screamer Killer is going to go down 10 points. These are big points reductions if you're running a lot of Carnifexes. It's not the strongest build. It's not the most popular build. And it is, in fact, yes, the only changes to the Tyrannids this go around. So personally, I think they could have used a bit more help. I'm happy that they got something though, and I'm glad that this was an aggressive take on Carnifexes. Yeah, very, very sore. Carnosaurus. Yeah, 25 points is humongous. So I was looking, we do have like 8 or 9 regular Carnifexes and 2 or 3 Screamers. So that list is like down like 200 points. Justin says in all caps, I have so many opinions on Tyrannids. Let me know. Let us know. Wonder what happens if you take a lot. Yeah. I'm like, what would happen? What would happen? I do think you take Invasion Fleet, so you get the Feeling Pains. I don't know. I'm curious to try it. We'll definitely get it on the stream soon. And Tyrannids is always a cool, fun, popular faction. So deal with Victrix. Lindsay's gonna be so happy. She tried to go get the new box with the monsters, the 6 monsters, but that's a very popular box already, and apparently was totally sold out locally. So, yeah. Really love one with buddies in Subterranean. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Shadow Warrior, you're talking about Tyrannids? Or are you discussing something else here? Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, yeah, so Tyrannids, a little bit of love. I think they deserve more, but yeah. Justin says, I feel with the Tyrannids, they don't try anything. They kept update after update, take the data sheets that aren't taken and buff them. That is fine if we don't get an update every 3. Yeah, honestly. Yeah, we know where to get her for Christmas. Precisely. No, you're good, Shadow Warrior. Yeah, they keep doing weird stuff with Tyrannids, and it's just never enough to really bring them back into the fold. So I hope they get more next time around. In the meantime, let's play with Horn Carnifex and see what happens. Yeah. Cool. Moving right along, we have the World Eaters. Now, the World Eaters, this is an interesting one. I know Shane has thoughts on it. World Eaters have been doing quite well recently, so they got some hits to their key units. I felt like World Eaters was kind of in a perfect place, personally, other than, obviously, Angron, who did go down 20 points. So he cost the same as the other Primarch that you're not taking, which is Fulgrim. Goremongers went down 10, which I do like, because I think they are a good unit that just wasn't quite making the cut, fighting for other slots in the army. Like, how much are Jackals? Oh, still a bit cheaper. But these do infiltrate, so I don't know. We'll see. I'd be curious to see if we see Goremongers in lists again. Now, the Slaughterbound did go up 15, and just the Berserker Warband list in general went up, because we have the Helm of Brazen Iron, which is the -1 damage, and the Berserker Glaive, which is the extra damage. Both went up. So, like, the way to play World Eaters has gone up. And it's a little annoying in the sense that I don't think that their winning rate is like too high. They're basically doing this for internal balance. But the problem is, yet again, they have hurt one version of it, but not helped the others. So, like, you're helping internal balance by just bringing everyone down. And I don't know that that's the answer. And the Lord of Juggernaut also up 15 points as well. So, like, the big buffs for each of these kind of units is going up, right? So it's like the buffs on the characters is going up. The characters that buff the other units are going up. Same with the Lord on Juggernaut. So, you know, I think they're going to be totally fine. Like, you lose a unit, it's a little bit annoying because they were kind of, you know, they needed everything they could get. But I think still going to be in a solid spot. So I don't think it's going to be anything substantial. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Teddy, not feeling the nerfs, World Eaters. Yeah, I thought they were in a totally fine place, honestly. Yeah. Angron needs new rules. Resurrecting is a bad mechanic. I 100% agree. Great internal balance. Everyone suffers for it. Yep, exactly. Yep. I think World Eaters were in a totally fine spot, and they didn't need any of these changes other than Angron, and you're still not taking them. So, again, I think they'll be fine, but kind of unwarranted. Felt like change for change's sake. And that is that. Yep, no rules changes there. We did it. So let's talk about some overall thoughts here now. Game was good when we came into this. Game is better after. That's true. I think Aeldari definitely got the smackdown. Maybe too much, but at least we've had a problem dealt with. Admech took a smack. but not enough probably. So I think Admech still probably the best army in the game. We saw Sisters take a little bit of a hit, but not too much, which is kind of what I was hoping for. We saw kind of a lack of internal changes in codexes in the direction we wanted. Some good, some bad other internal changes. So, kind of a net neutral, I guess. But overall, a light touch for a pretty balanced state of the game. Eldar still to hit too hard, maybe, but, everyone has their turn. So, yeah. That didn't help me make my decision any easier for what my second main army will be. You know what? I feel your pain, Saul. Well, GSC didn't change at all. So just keep playing your GSC. Rodriguez was undercosted. Yeah, definitely agree. What's that pony? Poor Eldar. Yeah. Please don't go to Reddit for your takes. Oh no, I'm very curious. What's the internet saying? I have not really dug around yet. Melody is right. If you're enjoying the stream, folks, do leave a like, do leave a comment down below. It really helps us continue to do what we do. And as you know, we don't do as many live streams now, but if you want to see more of them, just show your support, and that's how we can make them happen. Sky Shield says, hey, shouldn't the EC Demon Prince with Wings get the new detachment enhancement? The way that it's written, I don't think it does, because of the way that the keywords are separated out. So, for example, it's like Flying Demon Prince is a keyword. Yes, Demon Prince is in that keyword, but it doesn't work like that. Like, Nurgle is a keyword, Demon is a keyword, so Nurgle Demon does work, but you can't take like a subsection of a keyword. So I think as written, I don't think it works on the Flying Demon Prince. Thursday, I will be taking it, and I will be putting on a Footprints, playing it safe. Yeah. Subterranean is a very cool detachment. Yeah. No Death Guard nerf, so 60 Plague Marines are a go. Let's go, Andrew. Get building those Plague Marines. Get painting. It's better than the, 115 Poxwalkers you were looking at doing? Invasion fleet winning events here and there. Yeah, I think so. Let me know in chat. What do you all think about this data slate? Are you happy with it? Are you unhappy with it? Are you kind of lukewarm on it? As for me personally, for things I'm going to play, still very excited about Emperor's Children. Of course, I did not have Harlequin attachment on my 2025 bingo card, so now, of course, I'm looking at that because I love Harlequins. So those are the two that I'm really torn between. I'm excited to play my Guard. That's going to be cool. I have no motivation to play Orks, unfortunately. That's the way it goes. Azuma as a Black Templars player, I feel it's the worst slate of 10th edition. You know what? Totally fair. No grudges. GSC being untouched is fantastic. Sad orc noises. Yep. You're having your hair on your right cheek and I can't unsee it. Do I? More Harlequins, please. Now. Yes. Dude, Brian and I are going to come to blows when it comes to Harlequins. Live it up to 1216. Thank you for the super chat. They say it feels like they worked on internal balance for factions, then forgot to actually do the data slate. It's a lot of internal balancing. But again, I think overall, they didn't need a ton of huge changes. I think I would have FAQ'd the detachments rather than balance data slate them personally. I think they could have done more of that. I don't think the balance data slate needed a lot. That's more for temporary things. Yeah. Will pretty happy. Everything got buffs or nothing. Nice. Wishing Nids had some more help, but don't play competitively, so don't need much. Yeah, that's fair. And I get it, Rick. A balanced game is good for everyone. So even if you're just playing at home, it's nice to know that things are kind of on par with each other. Ricky Chow, I almost want to flip to Harlequins for events now instead of Drukhari. That's pretty cool. They're still tough to play, as you saw last night. It's tough. Melody thinks this is the end of Grotmus. Yeah, I'd be surprised if we got more stuff after this. I think this kind of feels like a package deal today. So I doubt there's going to be more rules coming. Yeah. Short stories, Plastic Warhound announced on Christmas. Yeah, naturally. I love it. Cool. Well, thank you, Andrew, for the super chat. Thank you. Do you think for your desire for Orks come back in form of more silly/ridiculous types of lists to have a bit less stressful game? Yeah, I mean, I think I still enjoy playing Orks. We'll play some sillier stuff. I think the problem is I want to make sure that it's stuff that's compelling for other people to watch on streams. So, for example, for Thanksgiving, we brought the Stompa. It was fun. Straight up, that episode just completely tanked. I think people see Stompa, they say, that's just not a real game. I don't want to watch it. So that's always the concern with doing stuff that's too silly is people will just not watch it if it gets too out of hand. But, we could still run, like, the Hunt detachment. It'll be, like, not top tier, but still playable. There's builds that we can do where we kind of walk that fine line between, like, fun and competitive. So thank you, White55 for the 1 Tabletop Titans membership. Big thank you. And let's see. Oh, Azuma got it. Hey, congrats on the membership. Give him Orks Daka back. Oh my gosh. It was also Thanksgiving. Yeah. Holidays bad for content. This time of year, not good for content. Funny enough, at least for us. We just never do well during the holidays because turns out, as we can see by today, y'all like watching when you're at work, huh? You did miss Space Wolf Smell, but we're very excited for the new detachment. And we're sad that there's no Space Scout reductions. End of the year, unnerfed Mordaka and against Index Aeldari. That would be pretty sick. I love it. No worries, Chrono. You're good. Take your time. We put out a lot of content, honestly. Speaking of which, we have a ton of stuff coming up later this week. Tomorrow, we'll have a members video. We're going to discuss. We're kind of doing more meta talk, frankly, talking about where we're going, stuff like that. I'll have Brian Poland in the house. I will also have John McCardle. We'll see if we get him on stream or not. And then in the afternoon, we'll be playing the new Emperor's Children detachment versus the new Night Lords detachment, which we have a brand new Night Lords army arriving tomorrow. This is the wildest coincidence. This was not planned, I swear. Brian Poland just like, I want to make a Night Lords army. He's like, cool, we should do that. That sounds cool. Made it, painted, all the stuff. Lo and behold, a Night Lords detachment comes out. Only Brian can get away with that. So, perfect. We got new army for the new rules. So we'll be playing that on Thursday, which is going to be a ton of fun. And then Friday, we've got a lot of stuff going on. We have episode 2 of our Trench Crusade campaign live on Trench Titans. So that's going to be cool. And we'll have our post-game minigame where we get tortured. And in the afternoon at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're going to have our Horse Heresy matchup. This is going to be our old man grudge battle between Brian and John McCardle. Ultramarines versus a brand new Sons of Horus army that Brian just got done. It's a beautiful, beautiful army, and that's cool. And then Saturday, we'll be back again for a live game. This is going to be playing some Wildwood, which is, of course, our game that we're working on. We'll do a live game or 2. We're going to be showing some new models, doing a new faction reveal, a lot of exciting stuff. So and then the reason that we have our pre-recorded came out yesterday was because of that. So go ahead and check that out. That came out on yesterday, actually. Cool game between Tzeentch Demons and Dark Angels. So it's a ton of fun. Highly recommend you check it out. So we have a lot more stuff going on this week. Fantastic. Whew. All right, folks. I'm going to go get ready for everything else we got going on this week. I really appreciate everyone showing up in force for today's stream. So thank you for that. I love you. I appreciate you. And I'll catch y'all next time on the tabletop. Bye.